Welcome, everyone, to the LEC postgame lobby, where I'm joined by Nymaera and very shortly, the victorious Humanoid. In the meantime, while we wait for him to get rested and settled, it was a long, difficult game for him, as he did have to suffer against a Renekton in the mid lane. We'll have a little bit of time to talk about stuff, and I think the #1 topic on so many people's minds right now, I'm guessing, can't read minds, is Zeri. Zeri is a question, the thing that I want to talk about. Obviously, Fnatic won. There's a lot to talk about in standings, tied second, but you heard that in the interview from Coolleen. So let's talk a little about Zeri. You did a telestrator.
I did.
Earlier today. That's the fancy word for the TV that we draw on, as you hear the record scratch noises in the background. Wicca wicca. That was the start of the day. Did this meet your expectations?
Pretty much, actually, because actually we chatted about this a little bit off air as well. It's like, okay, actually, how strong is Zeri going to be? Is it going to be red side ban all day? And it almost was.
Yep.
And actually, if it isn't, should it be first picked? Is it worthy of being first picked? What can you pick against it? And the first thing that we thought of was actually really heavy 2v2 focus is a big problem for that. You've got, you know, FLICKR Thresh, like we logged that in. Zeri's locked in lane, doesn't really have to, you know, doesn't get to impact the game. And yeah, falls behind to a point where they can't really get to that point where they skirmish very well.
Didn't get to do a whole lot. One man who did get to do a whole lot in the game is none other than Humanoid. Humanoid, welcome. How you feeling?
Hello.
How's everything going, man? Quadra kill on Victor, that's pretty hype. Get a little Lich Bane in there.
I'm kind of sad that I didn't get the penta, so not the best. Yeah.
Look, man, it's one step at a time. I feel like your season can't be going too bad when the thing that you're sad about is not getting the penta kill. That said, would love to hear your thoughts early on in the draft. As we got later and later in that draft, obviously you guys had the Zeri, you got the FLICKR Thresh for it. That looked pretty solid. But the Renekton, Graves, Gwen, there's a lot of weird stuff happening there in the last three for the Mad Lions. Were you prepared for the Renekton matchup? Was it what you expected to be facing in the mid lane?
Honestly, I had no idea they were gonna pick Renekton, but there was so many mid lane bans, and I didn't know what could they pick into Victor, because all the good champions were already gone. So I knew they had to have some sort of like pocket pick, and it was the Renekton. But I think, yeah, if this champion doesn't get really far ahead in the early, then it's just a free win.
So I guess kind of like backtracking against like the early part of the draft with the Zeri though, like this is day one of this champion being available. We're not really sure how much scrim time teams have had. Most teams have just been banning it straight out. Did you guys have a particular plan for it? Was it just, oh, we know how to deal with this, it's not a problem? Because obviously it's been a huge ban for today.
Yeah, I think Zeri is for sure really strong, but since there's been only 1 week of scrims, I don't think the players really know that well how to play with it. So we felt confident playing against it in the first week, but yeah, probably if there was more time, we would ban it, because I feel like this champion is really OP right now.
Gotcha. Yeah. One man who is not used to having his OP champions unbanned is Hylissang on the Thresh in that game, and he got the Kia player of the game with 59% of the votes. So shout out to Hylissang. Stop giving this man Thresh, people. It's not worth it, even for potentially OP new champions like Zeri. But as exciting as the Hylissang Thresh was, Humanoid, I want to ask you, playing versus your old team, easy narrative for us here on the broadcast, but like, does this evoke any old feelings for you? Does it feel weird to play against Elyoya? Is it easier to play against Elyoya because you know his habits? How do you feel about going into a matchup like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a lot of fun to just play against players that you've played with in the past, because when you play with someone, you don't really know how it feels to play against them, right? And playing against them, you can see that they are doing a lot of the stuff that you were used to playing with them, and then you can counter it, but they at the same time know how you play, right? So then it's just a matter of who counters who better. So, yeah, it's just more fun than like normal players.
So you were kind of talking about, oh yeah, you know, you kind of get used to playing with this group of players, and it's kind of weird to play against them. But obviously this was kind of like a golden generation that you were part of on that old squad. So moving away from that and into another team which looks pretty formidable, what's the transition been like for you? Has that been a rocky road? Have you been enjoying it? What's the feeling on it?
I mean, so far I think it's been going really well. I didn't really know what to expect of a new team, but yeah, I mean, we clicked together pretty well, and I think so far we've only lost 2 games, right? So I think the score is pretty good, and yeah, we might have a really good chance in the end too.
One thing I would love for you to follow up on, if possible, is we heard Upset say in his interview that he feels like right now a lot of the reason that you guys are winning is because individually you have really strong players who maybe overperform in a game and can help you carry, but that the team plays not really there yet. He said you guys are at about 50%. What's your read on that statement?
I think it's true for every team in Europe right now. I think it happens every spring split that at the first month or two, the teams are really not playing close to their top level. But usually like towards playoffs, the teams start playing way better because that's like 2.5 months into the season. So that's a lot of time to improve. But yeah, so far I think for sure we are not playing like 100%.
Interesting to see how that story's developed, because despite not being 100%, you're still 6-2. It's still a super respectable scoreline. Before we look a little bit at the rest of the league, I would just love to know a little bit more about you personally, because you're a player who's obviously been incredibly successful, the Mad Lion stint, the pinnacle of that. But simultaneously, we know last year was honestly brutal for you in the Mad Lions. You guys had burnout. I know you talked a little bit with us in interviews about motivation. Do you feel revitalized and refreshed heading into this year? Is it like a new surge of motivation on Fnatic? What's actually keeping you motivated and excited to play League of Legends day to day in what is still a very grueling competitive schedule?
Yeah, I think the last year or the last 2 years, I didn't really have any breaks whatsoever. Just because of both Corona and the fact that we went to MSI and World. So there was just no breaks almost. And I think after this Worlds, I had like 2 months break to not play the game at least for once in a while. So that helped a lot. And I think right now I'm way more motivated than last year, I would say. And I actually have fun playing the game sometimes. So yeah, that helps, I guess.
I mean, it certainly does. I like that it's like have fun playing the game sometimes. I mean, we've all been there. Look, like nobody likes this fasting Jan or whatever. I certainly hope it's not coming up in scrims.
Yeah. Hey, have you tried Sona Mid? I hear that's really cool.
No, please don't talk about the Sona Mid. Anyway, I want to take a quick.
Have to try that.
Oh no, please. Maybe it's good. I don't really know anything.
Just delete the footage.
Can we delete the footage? I don't know. It's a good question. Checking in on the standings though, Rogue currently 8-2, Fnatic G2 just behind. Mad Lions, Misfits, Team Vitality. It's a big mess at the bottom of the playoffs. Of course, as we approach the end of the first round robin, I would love to know from you, who do you think is getting that 6th place seed for playoffs as we look ahead? Obviously, it's pretty far to look ahead, but I'm curious because it's such a rat race there once we get past you guys, G2 and Rogue, to see who's actually going to lock in those last 3 spots.
I mean, I think the top 6 that is right now is just going to be the top 6 in the end. I think the difference between like the 6th team and the last 4 teams is pretty big. So I would honestly be really surprised if it didn't end up like this.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I like to think of our LEC teams right now kind of like awkward teenagers. They don't really know what they want to be. And the teams that are out of playoffs are just like, they're still struggling to find that identity. They're still like, they don't really know which clique they want to be in. So it might take a little while to kind of see them come online. Maybe check in on Summer on a couple of those bottom teams and see if they managed to sort that out.
And some of the teenagers are a little more awkward than the rest of the teenagers. The absolute jocks are Rogue right now, 8-0, looking to complete the clean sweep. Fnatic looking to make, or not improve on, but match the Fnatic history of the formidable 18-0. Curious, though, tomorrow, XL versus Fnatic Game 4. You have been adopted into this legacy now, Humanoid, where XL have never beaten Fnatic in the regular season. Now, is this just a broadcast thing that we bring up, or are you actually? Is this important to you?
Do that.
Do you need to beat XL to keep the streak alive?
Oh, I didn't know that until now, but now I guess there's a lot more pressure. So thank you guys. I guess yeah, we have to win then. If there's a streak going on, we have to keep it going.
It's like you're my arch enemy. We don't even know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it was a Tuesday. Okay, all right, fair enough. I'll apologize to Yamato. Hopefully that didn't break your mental in any case. Speaking of breaking mental, it's a similar story for Rogue and G2. Rogue have never beaten G2 in a regular season game, so we'll look ahead towards that. As a final note, Humanoid predictions. Rogue versus G2. Who takes it in the end?
I think Rogue should be the stronger team right now. They always, for some reason, look really good in the regular split. And yeah, then sometimes they don't really follow up on it in playoffs. But who knows this year? But I think right now they look pretty good again. So I would say Rogue.
We'll see. The best of 5 transition, I think, is the #1 questions on everyone's mind. But for now, it is still the best of 1s. Nymaera, anything different to say in the prediction category before we sign off for the evening?
I don't know. I think we've had a pretty strong reasoning with Rogue. We give them a lot of airtime and we talk about Malrang a lot. And he's really, really good. And it's really difficult to argue against that because we see it on screen every time. And I think today was a really important game for them to show that actually, I mean, we kind of heard from Odoamne, his side of it, saying that he doesn't have to be the main character. Well, Malrang didn't either today. So it's a very well-rounded team outside of the obvious strengths that we've highlighted on broadcast before. And I'm excited to see what happens actually when they evolve into that best of 5 series.
I'm ready to see it as well. We'll find out who the main character is in tomorrow's match of the week, Rogue versus G2. But that's all from us here tonight. Thank you again so much, Humanoid, for joining us. Get rest. I know you have another game up ahead of you. Shout out to the production room as well. But that's all from us here tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to be finishing the first half of the season, culminating in an epic battle between Rogue and G2 Esports. We will see you there. Whoop, whoop. Welcome to Berlin, Germany, home of the LEC in Week 4. A new champion is also making their debut today, zooming on to the Rift for the first time in all major regions, none other than Zeri.
They're going for a full dive. The Xenoblade will land, but they root him down. Treats underneath the tower. Flash in, and Jezu has nowhere to go. He's going to fall down. Promiscu gives that one over. 2 quick kills to Astralis. Gilead gets caught out and will get hooked up by the Nautilus. Promiscu treats. Why would you go so far? It's a 4-man shockwave though. They're going to go for it. They do not have a cleanse. They will get a flash out of Karzi, and he's going to be a little bit caught out. Sorry, not Karzi, Comp, I should say, but they land the Q and the kickback. Trimby now. Now you do not have that big teamfight ultimate. Speaking of teamfight ultimates, here they all go. So many movements coming in. They jump straight onto Finn because you just cannot do anything else. But a flash from the Big Bear does get right on top of his face as the brothers in the Freljord do their damnedest to keep everyone from XL down. Rogue just kept everyone at arm's length and they just collapsed perfectly. That Mersa gonna find himself out. Labrov already have to use the heal on top of himself. Excuse me, getting the heal out of Karzi, and it's gonna be a flash away. Doesn't quite get taken down. Does have himself a time warp tonic, but Karzi now in a lot of trouble. Mercer will have the hook in about 2-1. No, not gonna get it just there. But there's no flashes, so it does not matter. And that's gonna mean Labrov is gonna be CC'd down to hell. He has to commit his own flash, but first, blood to Neon. Perfect start for Misfit. Perks is feeling frisky. They might not be able to get the chill back though. Alvari's so low. 1 down. Now Mateo feels confident.
Definitely is. There's a massive top wave stacking. BDS going mid though. Cam's able to flash away. Oh, Yankos with the W stopped. He cancelled it. He cancelled it. BDS continuing to try and fight back, but what can you do against the mightless G2 in this game? Hillesang has Flame, pulls them back, Glacial Augment, and look at the damage already onto Unforgiven Kaiser. Next, another hook coming out. It's a double for upset. He's so strong on this Aphelios. Is he strong enough? Elioya gets 1, Hextech Soul goes over to Fnatic, and now Elioya's got to do it all. It's on him. He gets 1. He's looking for 2. It's upset. He flashes. Elioya knocked up. Elioya down. A quadra kill for Humanoid.